Will now be recorded.
So Splunk. So last class we discussed about what is cybersecurity, what is SOC analyst, what is SIM tool. Okay, on that Splunk, what is Splunk? Today first class, no problem. Listen. Any doubts, I will help you. Just listen the class. So it helps. Okay. So now we're talking about Splunk. Actually, simply Splunk is a SIM tool. SIEM tool, Security Information and Event Management. It is used to help to get the data from different sources and normalize the data, parse the data, customize the data, filter the data, and store maintain the data in the storages. And from there, they used to create a correlations such as and create reports, alerts, dashboards based on the use cases. This is about Splunk. So in the SOC analysis, the Splunk is the high paid tool and the leader of the SIM tool. Okay, that's why we are talking much more on Splunk as a first. First, we will understand everything about the Splunk. Then we'll go through the networking concepts. Then we'll go through the cybersecurity frameworks. Then we'll go through the log analysis with respect to Splunk as well as IBM Radar, SolarWinds. Something we'll see some basics on it. Okay, so now we already discussed Splunk is not only the tool which is a cybersecurity tool, it can be done with a data analytics, even business analytics also we can do. Okay, so for that, it is the best choice to get the job in the two streams. One is for the business analytics and data analytics, and other one is for the SOC analyst. Okay, now as Splunk, which always work with a mission generated data. So basically, mission data is nothing but a log file. Okay, so for example, what is mission data? A mission data is nothing but a log file which stores all the activities, response operations, and performances of the devices like sensor, router, IoT devices, servers, websites, and applications, and cloud services, whatever it may be. So, based on their operations, based on the performance, based on the activities, the data will be registered. The data we call it as a mission generated data. That examples of mission data is application logs, server logs, business processing logs, call detailed records, and sensor data are the primary examples. So these all will be not understandable in the language. Okay, let's observe. So whatever the data like sensor, cloud services, IoT devices, mobile devices, websites, all this data will be in the form of unstructured format, unstructured data, unstructured data. Unstructured data is not at all suitable for doing data analysis, as the machine generated data is complex to understand and is an unstructured format, and also it is not suitable for analysis and visualization. I need something that fast and efficient. So for that reason, we are looking for the tool called Splunk. So that Splunk is a software platform to search, analyze, and visualize the mission generated data gathered from websites, applications, sensors, IoT devices, and etc., which makes your IT infrastructure and business well. Simply, Splunk makes your mission data accessible, usable, and valuable to everyone. Splunk makes your mission data accessible, usable, and valuable to everyone. Simple statement. Understand, sir? So why? Because as a mission data is not accessible, it's not useful. Even you can't create analysis on the top of mission generated data, that is unstructured data. So for that we need a tool. That tool we just solve it as a Splunk. So apart from the Splunk, any other tools are there? There are multiple tools are there in the market, like Sumo Logic, Lazily, Greylock, ELK, and Splunk. And apart from that, we have these tools. ELK, Sumo Logic, Dynatrace, App Dynamics, Negios, Datadog, Logstash, Lazily, IBM Curadar, SolarWinds, McAfee, HP Oxide, Solar, SIEM tool, RSA, Envision, Logarithm, Netcool, okay, Log DNA, like multiple are there, sir. Exabeam, okay, multiple tools are there, around 20 plus tools are there. But one hand, these tools are exclusively for log monitoring, observability. and a security analysis. We can do all these things. Here only you can do security analysis, right hand tools. Okay, these tools will support for example, some of the tool app dynamics will be there. Only APM module. APM means application performance monitoring. ELK, it can do some more log monitoring and as well as SOC analyst also. Okay, so more Dynatrace like Dynatrace also will be the application monitoring only. Okay, but Splunk can support for everything, and it is alternative for every piece of tool. Understand, sir? Now, if this is an alternative, okay, so why we are going with Splunk instead of other tools? This is the class today. Why we are going with Splunk instead of other tools? Just for that, I will just give one story. Okay, it is not helpful. Only one point is helpful to understand. But I'm talking where actually roots came from Splunk. Okay, actually Splunk, where it was came, what is the roots of Splunk, why Splunk is famous now, okay, why other tools are not competitor for Splunk. Everything we'll try to understand. Okay, in generally, normally, for example, if it is a HDFC bank, if this is a HDFC bank, you are trying to transfer some amount to your friend. Okay, so what will happen? You just open your account and then you will check your balance, and after that you will add your beneficiary, account beneficiary, and after that you need to select your a friend of your account, friends of account, and then you need to select the account, and then you need to enter the money, and you need to send the money to your friend's account. Then the money will be detected from your account, and then it will be transferred to your friend's account. First the money will be detected from your account, then it will be transferred to your friend account. Got my point? So these all we call it as a acid properties in the database. What is that? Acid properties in the database. So also call it as transactions and operations. Transactions and based on the companies, they will use different types of databases. For example, most famous databases are rdbms rdbms. Okay, otherwise some people are using some NoSQL databases also. Understand? Okay, so rdbms means, for example, database db2 something like that, or SQL, mysql. NoSQL database mongodb. Okay, example. Okay, whatever it may be depends upon the requirement. Okay, they used to maintain all these transactions into any of the database based on the use case. Okay, then what is the difference between rdbms database and NoSQL database? Both are database storages only. They used to maintain the transactions and other operations from the application, real production application. Okay, now let's suppose, so the data is in MySQL database. Okay, now I want to create some analysis. So what is the total number of failure time transactions on the Naresh account? Okay, what total amount transferred on this month, total amount received on this month, on that, what is the total debits he have, debits have, you got me? Total credits he have. Okay, and what is the last savings and how much interest rate you need to add. This is the analysis you need. So what you need to do, you need to connect to the databases. Okay, you need to connect to the database, and you need to use some tools. Okay, tools are like, for example, sql query, understand, or something like tableau or power bi or quick cube, quick sense. These tools we are using, and we are creating a data analysis. Understand? Data analysis. But one hand the data is storing. Okay, on a hand the data is storing, and other hand you are querying the data. What will happen to the database? See, right now I am teaching the class live. Somebody called me from outside. I gave an answer with my hand. No disturbance on the class. Class will continue. But I need to go there. That means real-time operation will be disturbed. Same here also. Small operations, small queries, small analysis. No problem. No disturbance for the database. But if it is a complex query, complex operation, so what will happen? Database performance get weaker. Database performance get weaker. Understand, sir? Same. That's why it is not correct way. And also one more thing, the databases are designed with a row storages. Row row storages are suitable for write fast, not read fast. Write fast. That's why multiple transactions it can write immediately. Even it will be good for writing, updating, modifying, deleting. Whereas row storages are row wise it will be stored. Data will be in the databases. These are good in write fast, modification, even deleting also. And while you are reading the data, that will get performance issues. Got my point? This is one of the most important thing. That means that databases are okay on direct connection of production, but it is not relevant on doing data analysis. If it is small company, no problem, sir. If it is a big company, lakhs, millions of records you are getting, it's not good to go on data analysis on the top of databases. Got my point, sir? That's why. And nowadays, see, this is not 2 years, 20 years, 30 years of industry. That means how much data you are getting. Lot of data, whereas databases are not that much of storage capabilities. Okay. In simply, databases will support in within GBs only, within multiple GBs, multiple GBs only, multiple GBs of data only. Okay. This is one point. Okay. And after that, while compared to no RDBMS database means relational database management system, they are very popular in the industry. But what happened to RDBMS database? Weaker in capacity. They are weaker in capacity. Weaker in capacity. They are weaker in capacity, but good in performance. And NoSQL databases are strong in capacity while compared to RDBMS, but weaker in NoSQL databases are NoSQL are weaker in batch processing. Batch processing. Weaker in batch processing. Understand, sir? Here there are two types of process are there. Two types. What are? One is online process. Another one is batch process. Online means real time, sir. Batch means historical, sir. For example, HDFC Bank is there. HDFC Bank, you are checking for every time your account balance and your transactions to you are doing some transaction to your friend or your family member. Okay, and you are checking your own balance. These all come under the online transactions. You got my point. Batch processing is nothing but historical process. End of the month, bank manager will check your account and add some interest to the amount. If you are not maintaining a average balance, he will debit the some amount from your all FDs in that branch. They will add a interest rates every month. Okay, what are the shares, everything, na? All that we are checking at the end of the month, na? That all come under the batch processing historical. Understand, sir? So whereas these RDBMS databases are good in both process, whereas NoSQL databases are weaker in batch process. You got my point. So compared to online process, batch processing is more important. That's why still companies mostly they are depending on RDBMS databases only, even though it is weaker in capacity. Okay, understand, sir? And more flexible, reliable, and faster. Okay. But nowadays the data is keep on growing na? That means the databases won't be maintain that much of data na? That's why people used to maintain the data. See, for example, last 2 years data here they will used to maintain, okay, and remaining 20 years data they used to maintain in the storages separately. Understand? So what will happen in the 2000s? In 2000s, okay, they used to store the data in the magnetic tapes. Did you heard about the magnetic tapes anytime? Hmm? You didn't heard about it anytime? Magnetic tapes. Magnetic tapes. In 2000, they used to store the data here. Reels, cassettes. They used to store the data here in these tapes in the 2000s. But what happened with these tapes? If you want to do the maintenance for this tape, entire tape data needs to be transferred to new tape, and you need to do maintenance for this tape. Very cost in the maintenance. Very cost in the maintenance. You got my point. So at the time, for example, in our old age also, if you want to record the voice or something like that, we'll do empty cassette. We'll do within the songs means it won't give perfect one. We will do entire empty, and then we will just record our things on the empty cassette. We'll purchase the empty cassettes. If you remember, I done that one. So these are the tapes at that 2000. And after that they used to store the data in did you heard about this like floppy hmm? Floppy disk, do you know?
Yes.
In computer labs you have a floppy disk, no?
Yes.
A floppy disk. Okay, but unfortunately this is very less in storage capabilities. Within MBs only it can be supported. That's why in the computer lab there are huge amount of floppy disks there. The time you use bulk data, it's not good again. Understand? So after that, they used to store the data in the CDs and DVDs. But unfortunately, CDs and DVDs are good enough from the time. But what happened if any small scratch also will corrupt your data, corrupt your data. But most of that, even still, I have some storage in my CDs and DVDs in my home. So still, so many people are using this one. Even present market, you will get these drives also. Yes or no? And after that, they used to store the data in the like pen drive storages. Okay, actually sandbox, we just call it as sandbox first. Sand storages, this is the storages actually. The sand store still it is available, sir. So basically this is a huge hardware. So this hardware will be connected within the network. So storage area network or a network attached storage, two types of there. So these all will be attached like this internally and communicated and used as a storages, sandboxes. Understand? CDs and DVDs and sand storages. And after that they used to store the data in the you can understand like hard disk. Okay, and after that they used to store this data like the sectional drives or something like that. Okay, but again these all storages needs to be connected with the computer CPU, and then from here they used to do a data analysis. Got my point? End of the day data analysis can be done with a computer connection. Okay, this is a tick process now. That's why in 2004, we got a Teradata. What is that? Teradata, the first data warehouse. Basically, we have Netija and Vertica also. Netija and Vertica also. Netija and Vertica. but these are not popular, but Teradata is the popular one. Okay, Teradata is the popular one. So what happened, all this database will be maintained with the latest years, and remaining all years will be maintained here. That means current plus historical data will be maintained. Okay, total 20 years data will be maintained here. From there they used to create a data analysis. Here itself there is a computer, so you directly connected to Power BI or Tableau, and from there they used to connect the data. Okay, they create an analytics, but unfortunately Teradata, at the time there is a limitation for the architecture. So based on the architecture limitation, you can keep 1024 nodes in the cluster. Cluster is nothing but servers, group of servers. So that's why industries are okay with up to 400 TB of data on the time. These are good enough up to 400 TB. These are good enough up to 400 TB. If it is more than that, again, this Teradata is not suitable. So people are facing a problem on that time. And the time 2005 actually it was came, but start using from 2011 12, sir. I think you heard about it. That is Hadoop Big Data. Hadoop Big Data. Understand? Hadoop Big Data. Anybody heard about this Hadoop Big Data? I think your brothers will know about this Hadoop Big Data. Why? Because in 2012, 13, 14, okay, Hadoop Big Data will be the miracle. It will be the hot cake in the Amirpet. If you have 2000 institutes, all 2000 institutes, this Hadoop will be. After Hadoop only entire storage systems was changed. Why? Because the biggest benefit in the Hadoop is you can maintain unlimited data. Unlimited data. Okay. So next, unlimited data, and then the the data will be stored in HDFS. Hadoop distributed file system. Hadoop dist- distributed file system. Okay, and also in the form clusters, on-prem clusters, and the data will be compressed and encrypted. These are the biggest benefits here. Unlimited data storage, Hadoop distributed file system, data will be compressed and encrypted. Understand, sir? So actually unlimited data storage means, let's say how it will be stored is, let's say for example this is one computer. Assume that 16 GB RAM and 200 GB hard disk. Okay. And again one more computer. Again 16 GB RAM, 200. Another one computer. Again 16 GB RAM, 200 GB. Again one computer. Again one computer. Okay. Now again this computer. Okay. Now total we can call it as a one cluster. So what will happen? See. This is 16, 16, total 10 na? Total 10 into 60, 160 GB of RAM, 10 into 200, 2000 GB of hard disk. Okay, still you are not feeling enough on this. You can maintain one more cluster, one more cluster, one more cluster. You got my point. And one more benefit is you can increase the nodes here also, your wish. Your 10 servers are there, na? You can keep 20 servers. in the cluster. You got my point? That means within the cluster you can increase the servers, or within the environment you can increase the clusters also. Got my point? So in the database point of view, two options are there, sir. One is vertical scaling, and other one is, okay, two processes are there. Vertical, very important, sir, entry question. So vertical scaling and horizontal scaling. So vertical scaling means scale up and scale down. Understand? Horizontal scaling means scale out and scale in. Okay. Now, for understanding purpose, suppose you have a mobile, sir. Your mobile is 16 GB RAM and some 1 TB storage. Assume that 1 TB. You feel it is not sufficient. Then what you will do? You're feeling it is not sufficient. Then what you will do? Increase the storage. So that means now, for example, you are increasing your size like 16 to 32 GB RAM, 2 GB, 1 GB, 1 TB to 2 TB. You are going. Got my point? Okay. Suppose still you are not happy with that. What you will do? Still possible to increase? Some limit is there. You based on your hardware, you can go certain limit only. It's not more than that limit. Why? Because your hardware won't supports. Then what you will do? You will purchase one more computer, one more lab or mobile. You got my point. The hardware is not supposed to. You, same computer also. You are having a 16 GB RAM, 200 GB hard disk. You can increase whatever the possibilities you have. 16 to 32 GB, 200 to 2 TB. Got my point. That is highest for this computer. But still, I need more computer means you will purchase a one more. Got my point. Within the computer, you are increasing the hardware and decreasing the hardware. 16 to 32, 32 to 64, 64 to 32, 32 to 16. Increasing and decreasing. Called vertical scale. Called very important, sir. Please remember. Vertical scaling means within the computer, you are increasing the hardware and decreasing the hardware within the computer. Okay. Horizontal scaling means you are not happy with one server, two servers, three server, four server, five server. You have five servers, four server, three server, two server. Increasing the servers and decreasing the servers in the environment. That is called horizontal scaling. Sir, vertical scaling means scale up and scale down. Scale up means increasing the hardware within the computer. Within the computer. Scale down means decreasing the hardware within the computer. But horizontal scaling, increasing the computers within the environment, decreasing the computers within the environment. Got my point? Very important. So that means here, one here in the Hadoop point of view, one cluster we call it as a one server. No? One cluster we call it as a one server. For example, 100 computers will be called as one cluster. Okay, one cluster act as a one computer. One cluster act as a one computer. You got my point. So in the Hadoop point of view, how it looks, within the cluster, nodes are increasing and decreasing. That is a vertical scale. Within the cluster, 10 nodes you kept, not feel happy. 20 nodes, 30 nodes. No nodes, no limit. 10 nodes, 20 nodes, 30 nodes within the cluster. Okay. For example, 100 nodes. You're not happy with a node. 200 nodes within the cluster. Got my point? That is called vertical scaling. Why? Because cluster is nothing but computer. కంప్యూటర్లో మీరు ఆ హార్డ్వేర్ పెంచి తగ్గిస్తే వర్టికల్ స్కేలింగ్ కదా. సేమ్ క్లస్టర్ ఇన్ కంప్యూటర్ యు ఆర్ ఇంక్రీజింగ్ యువర్ హార్డ్వేర్, యు ఆర్ డిక్రీజింగ్ యువర్ హార్డ్వేర్. దట్ ఈస్ వర్టికల్ స్కేలింగ్. నౌ క్లస్టర్ ఈస్ వన్ కంప్యూటర్. That means computer capacity will be nodes. Nodes are increasing and decreasing. That is a vertical scaling. Okay. Clusters are increasing and clusters are decreasing. That is a horizontal scale. Cluster 1, cluster 2, cluster 3, cluster 4. Or cluster 3, cluster 2, cluster 1. That is a horizontal scale. You got my point, sir? Yes or no? Normal statement will be within the hardware, within the computer, hardware increasing, decreasing, vertical scaling. One more computer, two more computer, three. That means adding the computers and decreasing the computers is a horizontal scale. But cluster point of view, one cluster means one computer. One cluster means one computer. That means computer power will be multiple nodes. You are increasing the nodes and decreasing the nodes is a vertical scaling. You are increasing the clusters and decreasing the clusters is a horizontal scaling. Very good. Super. That can be possible with Hadoop. Both can be possible. Both can be possible. Got my point, sir? That is unlimited data in the form of on-prem clusters. Next, HDFS file system. The data you are storing, you are giving a table format, whatever the format it should be, the data will be form of files. The data will be stored in the form of files. The data will be stored in the form of files. Files means .tgz file, .csvz file, like that. And the file you are giving, that is in the compressed. For example, you give a 100 GB file, it will store as a 50 GB file on. And that to encrypted, stronger encryption. Security point of view. Nobody can access that server, the data, without a decryption key. Got my point? That all will be possible with a Hadoop. That's why Hadoop, once the Hadoop came into the picture, entire things was changed. From Hadoop itself, they used to create a data analysis. Got my point, sir? But everybody are happy on 2011, 12. Okay, actually it came on 2005 only, but it will be you start using from 2011, 12. But Hadoop, all people are maintaining the data in the Hadoop systems. Okay, as a data warehouse. Actually, this is a data warehouse only. Okay, but all people are connecting to the Hadoop and creating a data analysis. Okay, but problem came. What the problem? Data is not smaller in size. Day by day, the data is keep on growing.
Maybe unstructured.
No? Whatever it may be, whether it is structured or whatever transactions will be say HDFC Bank today 100 30 years of industry. How much data it should be? So lot now. So that data is keep on growing. Same like that, analytical operations also growing. Analytical use cases also growing. So in that pace, the data is used to maintain in the Hadoop systems. So you have a question, sir, Hadoop is unlimited storage now. What is the problem? But unfortunately, Hadoop is a on-prem clusters. On-prem? What is on-prem? What is on-prem, sir? On-prem means on-prem and cloud. What is on-prem and what is cloud? On-prem means you need to invest more money to purchase your hardware. You need 10 computers, 20 computers, 100 computers, 1,000 computers. You need investment. Investment. Understand? Why? Because you need to purchase na physical hardware, investment. And the second point, after investment, 100 computers you purchased, but you feel it is not sufficient. Then again, investment. That means limitation. Limitation on the process. Understand? Next, you purchased 100 servers, but you are utilizing 50 servers only. Remaining 50 servers will be wastage. Understand? Next, 100 servers you need to install the operating system, supporting drivers and supporting softwares, and all the things needs to be now, so that time taken to install. Understand? Installation. It's time taken to install. Understand? Next, maintenance overhead. You need to take care about it everything na. Maintenance, power consumption, climate controller, everything you need to take care about it. If server will be failed, you need to take care about it na. Next, the sixth point, no disaster recover, sorry, latency. For example, you set up all the servers in Amirpet, but your clients are from USA. From USA onwards you are searching from Amirpet, means they get a latency issues. Yes or no? If you want to set up same setup in the USA, means again cost burden. On prem means that only. So next, seventh point, no disaster recovery. Disaster, disaster recovery. No disaster recovery. So that means, for example, any fast for power fluctuations happened. Okay, power fluctuations happened and it was collapsed. What will happen? Huh? Entire thing will be failure. Entire hardware will be failure. You got my point. So again, there is no high availability. These all are the problems in the on-premises. On-prem is nothing but simple, sir. You need to invest first money, and you need to purchase your hardware, and you need to take care about it. You need to bother about it. You need to work on it, everything. Physically, it will be available in your company premises only. Simply a homemade food. Okay, you need to take all the ingredients. You need to cook the food. You need to clean the food after the eat. Okay, and also uh, everything you need to take care about it. But problem with first investment to purchase ingredients. Hmm? Second one is, if you prepare for three people, two people only eat, means one people food will be waste. If you prepare for three people but four people needs to be eat, means one people no food. If while cooking process something happened and legend or something, it was fall down in the cooking dishes, waste. No disaster recovery. After eating, cleaning process, maintenance, everything. These all are the problems, no? So instead of that, just simple go to hotel. Okay, no cooking process, no investment. Okay, no cleaning process. Okay, ready made. Yesterday's food today cook and they will give perfectly. Immediately it will come. Okay, and how much you eat, for that only you can pay the money. Two people eat, two people food. 10 people eat, 10 people food. You got my point. That is simple, na? That is called cloud. Cloud is nothing but some people like a hotels. Okay, some people like Google, Amazon. Okay, Azure, Microsoft people. They started a hotel, like a IT resource management hotels in Mumbai, Hyderabad. Two hotels, two branches for the India. Like worldwide, they have a branches. Okay, your wish. Where you want, you can take items from that hotel. That is Mumbai or Hyderabad. That means items is nothing but computer resources, IT resources, like CPU, RAM, storages, hard disk, networking devices, whatever it wants. All they will give as a rental. Okay, they won't provide the hardware to you. Okay, the hardware is in one place only as a data centers. Okay, for example, this is the data centers. Okay, suppose it is a Mumbai data center. Okay. Okay, from here you will get some computers for you. If you want some computers, they will allocate some space here. So via internet you can access this computer and you can do your practice. You got my point? No?
It's a locker room.
Locker room. But via internet, what locker room you
Server
have
room.
access to? Server room. Everything server room only. They will maintain use servers. Even in Vizag, GCP, Google will open these data centers on. So in coming days, we will get a option. You can get a server from Vizag also. It's possible, but you need to pay the money after the usage. No need of investment first itself. No bother of it. If one server down also, they will take care about it. High availability. No wastage. No limitation. How many you want, you can go. No maintenance overhead. Everything they will take care of it. Hmm? Will pay the money after the usage. No investment also. Okay, after that means 29 days, 30th day you will get a bill. Got my point, sir? So easy go na. In the olden days, what will happen if you want to start a IT company? So you need some 1 crore rupee or 2 crore rupee. Now with with 1 lakh rupee also we can start plug and play. That's why so many companies are keeping topis on aspirants to aspirant employees, unemployments, employers. Why? Because they don't have any investment. They are taking the plug and play office, okay, and they are showing some rich in their officeness. And after that, they collect 2 lakhs per person, and they're keeping topi after 6 months. But olden days, what will happen? Already 10 crores or 20 crores are invested. They work hard for getting that investment. Now there is a chance even AWS cloud or Azure cloud or GCP cloud also they will provide you something resources for 29 days. You can have a chance to keep it OP for AWS Azure people also. No need to pay if you until you don't have a uh, like continue to to that services. That means that at least that some 28 days you can use free service. But they will ask you credit card or something else. But they will give you some free trial eligibility also. Okay, we'll do that free trial in our practice. No worries on this. Now you understand what is cloud. No investment, no limitation, no wastage, no time taken to install, no maintenance, latency, no disaster recovery. Okay, that's why people are fed up with the on-prem process. On-prem process. But anyways, they won't change, you know. Okay, that's why what they will decide is instead of maintaining all data, whatever the data needed for analytics, that data only we can maintain in the Hadoop. You got my point? That's why what they will do, they used to decide that filtering. So filtering means ETL. Did you heard about ETL? Extract, transform, and load. It is extracting the data from the databases and it is transforming, customizing, filtering. Any duplicates are there, it will remove. Any unwanted data will be there, it will be removed. Whatever the data needed for data analytics, that data will be maintained in the Hadoop. And from there, they used to create a data analytics. Got my point, sir. Cleaning process, sir. You got my point, sir. Let's say, for example, in the olden days, what will happen? So directly we can drink the water from the tank. Yes, sir. Directly we can drink the water from the tank. But nowadays, what will happen? Why we are filtering unwanted data? We are removing from the filter. Filter is nothing but ETL. You got my point? Okay. Whereas glass is nothing but data warehouse. Tank is nothing but database. From tank to filter, filter will filter will filter the water, add some minerals. Okay, if any fields are not extracted perfectly, if the data type is not correct, it will correct it there itself. Okay, and it will load it into the data warehouse. Okay, from data warehouse to the data will be stands to analytical team. Got my point, sir? This is the process. But nowadays, all you people are happy with filters. You are expecting more now. What is that? Alkaline water. Kohli is drinking alkaline water. I also drink. I need to drink the alkaline. So black water depends. So many people have some taste or some interest. Based on that, normal filters are not sufficient. Same like that in this process also. Based on the business rules, data is keep on increasing and rules also increasing. You got my point. On that case, whatever the ETL tools like Informatica, Talent, data stages, SIS, MSBI, these tools are not good enough on that process. That way they use a Spark. Spark. Spark is again ETL, sir. It is like a high level of ETL operation. Okay, normally Informatica is the ETL, famous ETL. Okay, but these are okay. This is a normal process, and this is for the high process. Okay, normally batch processing. Okay, normal operations it will be used. For complex operations, high processing data, they are using Spark. Okay, Spark with Hadoop mostly famous. Why? Because Spark needs to operate with a huge computer. Na? That computer will be within a huge cluster. Spark don't have own cluster. That's why Hadoop cluster will be utilized by Spark. Cluster is nothing but on software. That's why Spark with Hadoop is very famous. Spark is nothing but ETL only. So it will do high complex streaming operations. Do you got my point? From there, the data warehouse will store the data, and from there, ETL tool process will be happen. Now you understand, sir, entire process. This is the process in entire organizations. This is only the process happen. Database. From there, ETL will extract, transform, and filter and load the data into data warehouses. From there, analytical teams will come and connect, even Splunk also come and connect to the data warehouses and creating a data analysis. This is the process. But people are not happy with this process. Again, process is okay, but not happy with this type of activity. Why? Because these all are on premises. These all are even Spark, ETL, Informatica, yeah, Hadoop. All these are on premises. That's why people are not interested on this process. That's why cloud SQLs will come into the picture. Cloud databases, cloud ETL tools are coming to the picture. Cloud ETLs, cloud data warehouses all come into the picture. Even cloud analytical process come into the picture. Okay, example AWS, AWS cloud. In the cloud there is a RDS, okay, and Neptune, DynamoDB. You got my point. And ETL point of view, there is a glue, okay, and Databricks, okay. And after that, data warehouse point of view, Redshift. Analytical point of view, Data Studio. Sorry, Quicksite, cloud based. Okay, this is Redshift. This is glue. This is something like Data Studio. Sorry, Quick site. Understand, sir? This is something like RTS. Azure point of view, SQL servers, ADF, Azure Data Factory. Did you heard about it? Azure next Redshift wise Synapse, and this is MS Fabric. Next, Google point of view, uh, Cloud SQL. Cloud SQL. What is that? Cloud SQL. Data fusion. Data fusion. And BigQuery. Big query. And this is something like Looker. Looker. Did you have heard about Snowflake? Anybody? Snowflake. Outside boards you can see Snowflake. Alternative for this. Hadoop one. Alternative for Hadoop. Alternative for Hadoop is Redshift, Synopsys, BigQuery, Snowflake. These are cloud based. These are on-prem based. Got my point, sir? Yes, sir. Like this, the process will be into cloud. Clear, sir? Now cloud is come into the picture, and all people are working on the clouds. Now come to the Splunk. Now this is the process. Understand, na? Same. Splunk, please come to the Splunk, sir. So the data is in client mission. These are my networking devices, servers, databases. Here the data is there. So I will get the data to Splunk. And I will receive the data. And I will customize the data, and I will parse the data. I will filter the data. And I will store the data. Understand? After storing, again, I will write a query on the storage, and I will create a reports, alerts, dashboards. This is reporting. This is storage as well as ETL, and this is databases. That only, na? Got my point. And now one storage, na? One storage is not sufficient. This storage is not sufficient. What you will do? You can increase in hardware. 16 GB to 30 GB, 32 GB to 64 GB. Still it is not sufficient. One more server, one more server, one more server, and that to cluster. Within the cluster, you can increase multiple storages, multiple servers. Within the server, you are increasing vertical scaling. Within the cluster, you are increasing nodes, means horizontal scaling. Here, 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 here. Don't confuse. Okay. Here, why? Because server will be a server only. Here in this case, you can increase server wise and hardware wise. Okay. Still, one more option is there. You are not happy with this one cluster, you can keep one more cluster. Then you can talk. You are increasing clusters. What horizontal scaling? You can go one more cluster, multiple clusters you can go. Same, it came from Hadoop only. Same like Hadoop, it can be maintained unlimited data. It can be encrypted, compressed, and it should be a DFS, distributed file system. That is Hadoop distributed file system. This is DFS. The data will be stored in a file system only. Okay. All vertical scaling will be there. Horizontal scaling will be there. You can maintain unlimited data. You can maintain DFS file system, and it will be compressed and it will be encrypted. Okay. And this is on-prem again. Sir, on-prem is worst only, na? Then again, you are telling as a good. No problem. This is on-prem, na? This is possibility. Huh? Then there is a Splunk cloud is there. Splunk cloud is also there. Otherwise, you can get your Splunk on AWS cloud also, Azure cloud also, GCP cloud also. All three possibilities are. You got my point. On-prem is there, Splunk cloud is there, Splunk with AWS, Azure, GCP also is possible. Got my point. That is the biggest benefit. Today, first point is Splunk has huge storage capacities in the form of on-prem clusters. In the form of on-prem clusters, it will store the data in the distributed file system within the compressed and encrypted. Within the compressed and encrypted. Vertical scaling and horizontal scaling will be supported. And also it will be on-prem clusters. Cloud support will be there. Even Splunk cloud support is also there. 2 points. Why we are going with Splunk? We have much more points are there. We'll see on next class. Do you have any questions? You can ask me. This all I explained you for in general process. But anyways, every person needs to follow this process. Now in the Splunk, so you are using admin activities now. Actually, this is the process now I'm telling. Okay, this process this we call it as a OLTP systems. This we call it as a OLAP systems, analytical process systems. Actually, database ETL and database ETL and data warehouse. This we call it as data engineer. Who are working for that? Data engineers. These guys are working for data analyst. Okay. In the Splunk, same thing. If you talk about Splunk, okay, Splunk admin is there, na? Splunk admin. Admin is called it as data engineer. Collecting, parsing, filtering, cleaning, and storing. Okay. And after that, Splunk development is there, na? Huh? Development. Data analyst. In the Splunk development, we are using a such a app. Splunk development. You are using ES app, Enterprise Security, SOC Analyst. You are using Machine Learning Toolkit, Machine Learning Toolkit, Data Scientist. That means if you learn perfectly a Splunk, that is equals to 10 courses in Amirpet. Entire database management you understand. What are the ETL operations you can understand. Data warehouse concepts you can understand. Data analyst concepts you can understand. SOC analyst, security analyst concepts you can understand. And apart from that, data scientist operations also you can understand. Understand? That's why I teach that class data engineer and data analyst. Only for understanding this point. Okay. చాలా మందికి మనం ఎక్కడో ఏం పని చేస్తున్నామో తెలియకుండా వర్క్ చేస్తూ ఉంటారు, నేర్చుకుంటూ ఉంటారు. నా ఉద్దేశం అది కాదు. మీకు తెలిసి ఉంటే మీకు ఇంట్రెస్ట్ వస్తుంది. అందుకని అంతా చెప్పాల్సి వచ్చింది. దట్ ఈస్ నాట్ రిలవెంట్ టు అస్. Okay, one point I can read and I can go through the next slide. But my intention is to teach you how exact process happened and where we stand.
Foundation.
Yes. Clear, sir? So tomorrow, if anybody asks about Snowflake, you can tell. It is just a data warehouse, sir. It is a huge storage capacity like Hadoop. Even same Hadoop can be implemented on Splunk. Splunk is also came from Hadoop. It can be used storage capacity in the form of DFS file system with compressed and encrypted. That's my point. If anybody asks about ETL, yes, we are doing that. Before going to store the data, we are cleaning the data, we are deleting the data, unwanted data, we are masking the data, we are filtering the data. That all come under the ETL. Understand? And the analyst point, if somebody asks Power BI Tableau, we are also creating dashboards and reports. And you are dragging drop. I am writing a query, SPL query, Splunk processing language, such processing language. And you are in the same stream. I am also in the same stream. So many people are asking data analytics tool. Did you teach data analytics? Data analytics is a process. It is only done on Power BI Tableau. No. Multiple tools are there. Even our Splunk is also doing data analytics. But nobody asks for Splunk. That is the problem. The outside market also marketed like that only. Data analytics means Power BI Tableau. That's my point, sir. You are in the best position and best place. You are BA, data analytics as well as a SOC analyst. Coming future will be completely a cybersecurity. and the data part, and you are in the same stream. Just do hard work. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Have a nice day. Bye.